Raju, also if possible, stream it, I hope it is getting streamed. In today's lecture, we will focus on Angular CLI. Angular CLI. Fonts bigger, right? So now we know TypeScript, we know why Angular, right? We also know npm commands, npm install jQuery, npm install this, right? So now if you want to go and if you want to, yeah, that is good, Raju. Must be you don't have to stream it because we have very less people as compared to India, right? We can do it right away here. So now when you say that you want to go and run an Angular project, you have a lot of things to do. You have to go and you have to create a package.json. You have to go and configure your TypeScript, Remember why I have taught you TypeScript? Why I have taught you Node, NPM? Because Angular needs this. So the Angular configuration is very, very high, right? It has a lot of files to get configured. So they have created something called as Angular CLI, Angular command line interface. Command line means through the command line, it will create a project template. Angular CLI will go and it will create a project template, and that project template will help you to start your Angular project, right? So here it is, you can see this is Angular CLI. Remember all this thing, what you see, this Angular CLI, all of these things, right, are part of the Angular project. Means, for example, if you go to Angular GitHub out here, you will see that there are 3 teams here. You can see in this Angular GitHub, this is the Angular 2, Angular 10, or whatever, is the new version of Angular. The down section of Angular, what you see is Angular 1. All this is Angular 1, right? So if you, so for now, just excuse this Angular 1, these 3 projects down, look at the top one. At the left-hand side is a framework team. So here, framework people go and check in code. Remember, GitHub is where you have code repository. So if you go out here, you will find that the framework team are checking on daily basis. Like you can see yesterday, somebody checked up something, right? And so on. So this is the framework team core framework of Angular. You can see the second set of project which is running parallelly is Angular components or Angular material. You can say this Angular material is for UI. In the UI, you want a tree view control, you want a dynamic grid, you want a dashing autocomplete box, right? So all such kind of beautiful UI controls you will get from this. And the last one is Angular CLI. And the main goal of Angular CLI is to give you a ready-made project template, right? So you can see here, it creates, manage, builds, right? And all that, right? So what we will do first thing. So this Angular CLI also has a separate page. Let me see if in this only they have given some. Yeah, there it is. So first thing, we have to go and we have to say npm install -g Angular CLI. -g means install it globally, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a simple folder out here. This folder, I will name it as Nepal Finishing School, right? So that all this code, I think I had created, let me do that. So here, I had created this small projects and we had started with the EMR thing, right? Did we cover this Angular CLI? Can anyone put here in the comment? Did we cover Angular CLI by any chance? I can see we have covered a lot of things. Did we cover Angular CLI? Okay. Why is this? Must be this is okay. Oh gosh, too many things out there. Okay, fine, we did not. So I'm going to go here and create. Must be I'll start putting all my code out here. Nepal Finishing School. Right. In this, I will start all the Angular code I will put here. So this is where the Angular code is going to go, right? Now what we will do is, from the editor point of view, from the point of view of an editor, we will use VS Code, Visual Studio Code. So we're going to go and use this tool here called as VS Code. This VS Code is a very awesome tool created by Microsoft for, writing JavaScript applications or C# applications or any application, because it is not tied up to a language. It is not really tied up to a language. It can work with C++. It can compile C++. It can compile Angular. You can work on React, right? So I'm going to go and open this tool. Now, most important part is, please run this tool as an administrator. Please run this tool as an administrator. So we can see our VS Code administrator out here, right? Now you can see there is a current project which is opened, which we don't have to worry. So we will open our folder, file, open folder. Don't forget about all the menus. Open the folder which we have created, this one, where we will write the Angular code. This code, what you see out here, is an old code. So this is now the new code out here. So you can see there is a welcome screen and there's a folder, right? So now this is the folder out here. So very quickly, if you ever go and if you create a file here, for example, if I create some text file like this, that text file will be seen out here. If I create an HTML here, like index.html, it will be seen in the folder. So it actually operates at the folder level. If I delete these files from here, it also goes out from the VS Code, right? So VS Code works on a folder. You can see this is index.html, but it is deleted. So I'll close this, right? So now over here, we will go and we will create our project using the Angular CLI, right? Now, now you can see this is the folder structure. Second, in this VS Code, one more important thing is the terminal. This terminal is a place, from where you can go and you can fire command things. Like for example, I want to go and say, run npm and install jQuery. So I can say npm install jQuery. If I do that, it will install the node underscore modules. You can see out here, it has installed the package log.json, right? So that's what the use of terminal is. So terminal actually helps us, you can delete all this. Terminal actually helps us to create, to execute command line kind of commands, right? Okay. So now let us go back to Angular CLI. So there it is, npm install -g Angular CLI. So I'm going to go and run this command right out here. CLS control V. And if I, now -g means what? -g means global. -g means global. If I say npm install without the -g, it will install it to my local folder. But when I say -g, it actually installs in my profiles folder, right? So let me run this. Let me just give some time on this -g. So for example, now look at this. If I say npm install -g jQuery, if I do this, right? What this command will do is, if I enter this, this command will not create the jQuery folder in my local. You can see in my local, it has not created any folder. What it has done is, at the computer level, at the machine level, somewhere in my users folder, you can see this is the users folder. And I'm logged in currently with the username Dell. So if I go to Dell, there is a profiles folder. Hang on. C profiles folder. Where is the Dell? Control R. Profiles folder. Profile. Oh, what am I missing? See, yeah, app data. Yeah. So there it is. See, Dell, I'm sorry. For every user, there is an application data in your computer if you're installing. I'm sorry, I just got lost. So for every user, when you log in as a user in a computer, you have a special folder called as app data. This is created, to say that If you have installed, let us say, Visual Studio, then some profiles are created out here, some settings are out here, right? In this, you can see there's a folder called as roaming. Roaming means from wherever the guy logs in, he will get all these files. So whoever logs in this computer, they will get all these files, right? So in the roaming folder, if you go out here, there is this npm. In that, you can see there is node_module, and you can see jQuery has been installed here. You can see jQuery has been installed here. If I delete this, for example, or if I remove this from here, if I go here and if I say npm uninstall -g jQuery, if I do this, this folder will be removed from here. You can see now it has gone, right? So -g means it installs at a computer level. Means what? What does it mean technically is that when I create any project and if I use jQuery, it will take the jQuery from this central place. When I go and say npm install local jQuery, like this, it installs it locally. Means what? Every project can have different jQuery versions. I'm repeating this. Every project, if they want, some project can have 3.2.1 and some project can have 3.7.1. So they can have different versions of jQuery. They can run side by side. They can run side by side, right? So that's what is -g, right? So I'm going to go now and remove this. Any questions, guys, on this jQuery, this -g thing? Did we get what is the difference between npm install -g and npm install just local? When you say npm install -g, it installs globally. Global means the profiles folder. Let me know, is this understood? You can put down on the chat, yes, sir, we have got it. Yes. Right? Okay, great. I can see two of our friends have said yes, right? And let me know, guys, now that we have so less participants, right? We have very less participants. We can also do hands-on, right? Must be not now, but in the next class, I will create the project here. You also create at your end. I will do this here. You also do it at your end, right? So we can do it hands-on if everyone agrees to it, right? So today, we'll not do it today, but from next point onwards, we can do like Saturday and Sunday, we can do it hands-on as well, right? Because now what happens is after the class, I don't know really if you're practicing or not. Okay, so that's for the next class. Raju, just talk with them. If we can do hands-on, we can be more effective. Reveal in File Explorer. So I'll delete all this. Okay. Now to create the first Angular project, we have to first install that Angular CLI. So I'm going to go and say -g install the CLI. Now this goes and installs CLI at the profile level. Now you must be wondering that can we install CLI at the local level? You can if you want. But normally these EXEs, executables, like TypeScript, etc., should be installed at the global level. So you can see here, now it is saying, I have installed, I don't know, in jQuery it did not say, but it is saying out here, I've installed your Angular at C users del app data roaming. Everyone see that. And the file which has been installed is ng-exe. So if you go out here on this, that is the Angular CLI. So d app data roaming, hang on, roaming, npm, yes, ng, yeah, so you can see it is app data roaming npm, and somewhere here you can see this ng-exe. Look at this command out here, ng.exe. This ng-exe is now responsible to create your projects, to do things, right? So now I can go and I can say here, the exe is now installed. Yes, I can say ng new. I want to go and create, let us say, customer application. Ng new customer application, right? And I will press enter. Now, when I press enter, it will ask me a couple of questions. For example, the first question it is asking me is that, so before we start this, let us also know that how to check the version. So we'll say, can you tell me the version of ng new, ngv? So it says now this ng has a lot of versions out here. So you can see here, it is saying this is Angular CLI 11.2. If it is Angular CLI 11.2, it will create an Angular project 11.2. If the CLI is, let's say, Angular 4, it will create the Angular 4 project. I repeat this. Depending on the version of the CLI, it will create that kind of Angular project, right? So this is 11.2 here, it will create 11.2. And let us quickly check, what is the recent version of Angular? How about just going and checking recent version of Angular? Google. Angular.io. It looks to me angular.io. That's the website of Angular. Somewhere there was a Angular roadmap. Roadmap means that how this application will be there. So let us look at the roadmap. What is the roadmap? Let's see. So in progress, they are doing something. It looks to be 11 is the recent version. Guys, I've now lost track. They were releasing every month. I said, forget it, like you can't keep track every month, right? So just lost the track of it. They are not changing syntaxes, but they are releasing something new out there. Angular versioning and patches this and this. Yeah, what is this? 7.2 preview release frequency, 12 months, and following the status, right? So this is 10.0.0 was on June 20. So today is almost, okay, 2011. Looks to be 11 is the recent version. That looks to me, right? Anyone there who can confirm it? Yeah, 11.2.3. So if 11.2.3 is the version, must be we are almost there, right? So we will use this. So now by this, we will go and we'll create a project. ng new, what is the application you want to create? I'll say customer app or supplier application or hospital management system, whatever, right? So we'll press enter. Now it will start asking me a couple of questions. The first question it will ask me is that, do you want your type to be strictly checked? Do you want to enforce stricter type checking? Means as soon as you code, if something is not matching, do you want to check it right away? I will say yes, why not? Before going to production, why do I want to just let go the bugs, right? So yes, have a strict type checking. Do you want to use something called as Angular routing? This Angular routing, what it does is it helps you to navigate from one screen to another screen. I repeat this. Angular routing helps you to navigate from one screen to another screen. So you are from at home on the home page, and from home page, you want to go to, let's say, to a login page. From login page, you want to go to a logout page. This guy helps you to do it. So let us do like this. Let him generate that code also, right? So I'll say yes. You can see now which style sheet do you want to use. It is creating the project. So before creating the project, it is asking you certain questions, right? So do you want to use CSS? Do you want to use SCSS? Do you want to use SAS? Do you want to use less? Do you want to use stylus? Which one of these style sheets you want to use? Now you must be wondering that you must have done till now CSS. So what exactly is this less and stylus, right? See, the CSS is awesome, but the CSS, it is not strongly typed, it does not have a lot of features. So on the top of CSS, there were other frameworks built. For example, SCSS. This also does strict type checking. Less, this does dynamic binding, right? So we'll say no, like we don't want to go into any advanced CSS. Let us stick to our CSS out here, and there it is. Once you do this, you will see that it has created a project at the left-hand side. You can see it has created the project. You can go straight away to package.json to see that which is the version of Angular it is installing. You can see here, it is installing packages. It is installing packages. Huge number of packages gets installed at this moment, right? Angular is a very big framework. And so if you go and check, you can see all this is Angular 11.2, 11.2, 11.2, right? So that means that we are working on Angular 11.2 version. This project is created on Angular 11.2. Also, you can see the TS config file. Remember I said TypeScript, right? So you can see all the TypeScript configuration also out here. So what does this Angular CLI do? It gives you a ready-made project template, right? And this is the left-hand side is a project folder structure, right? So guys, any questions on what exactly is Angular CLI? What exactly is, what exactly it does? Any questions here? It is installing now, let it install. So what I will do, guys, I know that you guys are all writing articles, right? But the most important part which I felt is that I want you guys to start writing in terms of questions and answers format, because tomorrow when the company comes in, you must have written a lot of steps, to do how to do Angular CLI, but you don't know how to speak it, right? So what I want is, that I want everyone in your article henceforth, let us write in a Q&A format so that you can revise quickly. What is Angular CLI, right? What is the difference between npm install and npm install -g, so that when you write the answers, so we'll see what name to give this for this kind of article. So I would suggest, rather than writing heavy articles now, guys, we have very less time left, 3-4 months left. After that you have exams, right? So let us be very focused on how we can also speak in the interview. So we do the project as well as you are ready when you go for the interview, right? So these questions and answers we will write as an article. Okay. Does Angular CLI also provides local server to launch the app? Yes, Krishna, it provides a local server as well. Yes, there's a local web server which is created. Good question. Any other questions here? Okay. So with all that, now we will spend our 5-10 minutes in understanding this project structure. Any questions, guys, you can put down out there, right? So this is the project structure. So where is, let me check. So let me explain you. I'm sorry. So let us understand so I'm going to go and let us understand until the project is getting installed. Let us understand what these files are here. What kind of files we have? What does it do? What is the importance of it, right? Let us try to get it. So let us start with folder number 1. Let me make a white top. So you can see lots of folders here. First, let us talk about the folders. E2E stands for end-to-end testing. Normally, when you create a project, you would like to go and test it. You would like to test if the functionality is working. For example, if you create a maths function, let us say add, you will say, okay, 2 plus 2, does it give 4? 3 plus 5, does it give this, right? So this is an end-to-end testing. For now, we will not pay attention to this. Leave it. I'm just giving you for information that is end-to-end testing, right? Node underscore modules. This has already been explained. This is where all your packages are getting installed. So whatever the packages are, JavaScript packages, is all out here. SRC folder. This is where all the action happens. This is where you have your source code. So when actually as a developer, when you code, you write into this SRC folder. Now for now, I will start marking files which you should not see for now. As we go ahead into Angular, we'll see them later on. But for now, this file, this file, this file, don't look into it. README is understood, right? Package.json file. This is where your node underscore modules packages are. tsconfig file for TypeScript. So all the TypeScript configuration, should it compile to ES5? What can be the output folder, right? Output directory, all that is out here. So now you guys must be getting that why I taught you npm install and TypeScript. I hope everybody is now getting that why I had been teaching you, because you can't understand Angular's folder structure if you don't know TypeScript. If you don't know npm, you can't do anything with this structure, right? So there are lots of other files. Those files, just keep it aside. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So end-to-end testing, packages, source code, package.json, and tsconfig.json. Is this understood? Let me know. Any questions here? Yes. Understand the folder structure first. Yes, please. If you have any, if you know, if there are no questions, you can just say no questions. I will move ahead. If there is any question, please go ahead and type it. E2E, end-to-end question, end-to-end testing. I'm saying end-to-end questions, end-to-end testing, node underscore modules, SRC folder, and package.json. Great. So I can see no questions. Let us move ahead. Slow, guys, slow. We are moving to our destination. So there it is. Awesome. Everything has been installed. So you can see you'll see a lot of information, right? Don't worry. Until you don't see any red sign, don't worry. I can see green signs. I can see white lines. No problem, right? So this looks like everything is installed in the node underscore modules. It has installed all the packages, right? Now I'll go and I will run my Angular application. So to run the application, we will say ng serve. Remember, all commands are now ng new, ng serve, ng build, ng. ANGUALR. That ng come from that Angular's word ng. Great. You can see there's an exception out here. It says that I cannot run this command. Everyone look at this exception. I'm going to go and pause it. There is a red exception out here. So when you get these red exceptions, you have to be very careful. Then you say, oh, like I have to fix this. If I don't fix this, I can't proceed, right? Yellow errors and green warnings or something, just leave it, right? Now this says that run this ng serve command, from the folder where you have package.json, where you have tsconfig. So he's saying that I'm not finding the project definition. Project definition means package.json file where it is, tsconfig where it is, angular.json where it is, right? So what has happened is when he created this folder, when he says ng new, it has created everything inside this customer app folder. So I have to go inside the customer app. And in this, I have to say ng serve. I hope everybody got that exception. When I did an ng serve, it is trying to first find out tsconfig and package.json. It did not find out, right? So he's telling me that, no, I don't find any project definition. So we have to go inside the customer app and do it. Okay. Now, and also some small tricks out here. You can always use the up arrow key. And you can get all your old commands. So you can see here, all my old, 50, 60 commands, I can get it from here. You can see these are all the old commands which I must have fired yesterday and day before yesterday or whatever, right? So you can see it has gone to days back. So gone like long back, right? So so you don't have to really type again the commands. You can just say up arrow key and say ng serve, right? Now this ng serve will run and it will run the application. And as there was one question here saying, does it have a server? Yes, it has a server internally. So it will host this application inside that server. Now you can see here, Google also shares, takes a lot of information of your coding and provides it as an input, right? So he's saying that, do you want to like to share anonymous data about this project with Angular team? So like about this project, do you want to go and share some data like what is the size of your project and so on? I'll say no, like I want to have a privacy, don't do that. Say no, enter. Right? So that's just a simple question out there that, do you want to send any information, right? What happened? Okay. I think it is compiling. So now it will go and it will compile and it will run, it will host your project in a small web server. There's a web server also which has got shipped with this ng serve, and that web server, in that web server, it will compile and load the project. So guys, any questions on ng serve command? So I will put down the questions here. What does ng serve do? Right? What is the importance of SRC folder, SRC and E2E, end-to-end testing, E2E folder? What happened? This takes so much time to kick off. Let me do a control C. Control C will end it. And let me try again. For some reason, the compilation is not picking up. It's very slow, I know. It takes time on Windows actually. So the compilation is very, very, I don't know, something got stuck out there. You can see it is now compiling. The compilation here is very, very, what do you call, very intense in Angular. I will explain the why, because this compilation uses something called as Webpack. We'll come to that later on. So it scrolls through all your files in the SRC folder. It goes, it compresses those files. It removes unnecessary JavaScript. It goes and it removes unnecessary comments. So a lot of things takes place internally. So that's why it takes time, right? So, so don't worry on that, right? Now, guys, what we will do is until that project compiles out there, you can see the compilation is happening. Let us proceed and let us focus on that SRC folder. Okay, before that, any questions? Any questions? Yes. Okay, so, okay, guys, here it is. So I'll come to, again, there's a question here from Dev Narayan. What is the difference between ng serve versus ng build? Very good question. Before that, you can see it has compiled successfully. I don't know, it has ran very fast in my computer. Normally it does not. And you will see some messages out here, don't worry, right? But our project is currently hosted on HTTP localhost 4200 port. So if I go out here on my browser now, and if I give this URL 4200, you will see our Angular application running. This is the home page of Angular, right? So you can see that on 4200, my application is running and I'm ready for coding Angular, right? Now there's one more question here, that what is the difference between ng serve and ng build? So I'll put this as a question as well, and I will answer this question. So what's the difference or differentiate between ng serve versus ng build, right? ng serve builds in memory. ng serve builds in memory. For example, now, if I go and if I make some code changes here, for instance, this UI, what you see out here, this use HTML, what you see out here is coming from this app component.html. You can see this HTML, the one which you see welcome screen all, this is all coming from this HTML out here. Now, if I go and do any modification, for example, if I go and delete this HTML out here, look at this. And if I just put my own HTML, let's say, welcome to my homepage, right? And if I say save, you can see down it has compiled. Whenever I make any changes, it is compiling automatically. This compilation is happening inside the RAM, inside our in memory. So when we do ng serve, it is all happening in memory. So whenever I go and change, like example, this is TypeScript. If I go and make some changes out here in TypeScript, I go and I make some changes here. This is some change, right? And if I say save, it compiles. Look at that. Control S, it compiles. Now this is compiling in memory. But when I say that I want to go to production, if I want to take this and host it on Azure, or if I want to host it on my own website, right? I need the final HTML files. I can't take this whole village with me, right? I can't take this node_modules and source code. I need those final 510 files, which I want to take it online. For that, we have ng build. Control C, I'm going to go and do a control C, and we will say here ng build. What ng build does is it builds to the hard disk. It builds to the hard disk. So what it does is it creates a folder internally called as a dist folder. So over here, when this build will start, somewhere inside the customer app here, he will create this dist folder. And in that dist folder, he will put all the compiled code. You can then take that compiled code and you can host it on the server. You can see now, there it is generating. Now look at your left-hand side. At the left-hand side, you can see there is a dist folder. This dist folder is a distribution folder. It is a distribution folder. So if you can happily go and you can take this much code. So this much code, customer app, and host it, and your application is live. So the final code is this code. Are we getting, guys? So ng serve builds in memory. So whenever you are doing development, when you are coding, right, you use ng serve. When you say now I want to go live, I want to go on production, then you will say ng build. Let me know if that is clear. What is the difference between ngserve and ngbuild? Ngbuild only compiles the code, but ngserve launches. No, so both of them. Okay, that's one very good sentence what Krishna said. ngserve also launches the app, that is right. But the biggest thing is that ngbuild builds on the hard disk. ngbuild is for production. Even in ngbuild also you can launch a local server and you can run it. So ngbuild compiles in memory, ngserve compiles in memory, ngbuild compiles on the hard disk. Is this clear, everyone? Let me know. So Krishna, your answer is also right, but more than saying that who launches the server, it is important to know that what is good where. So if you are in development, you will do ngserve, develop. When you are done, ngbuild, right? Okay. Now, coming back again, so write the difference down, write in your own words, write impressive statements. One is you should know how to code, and one is how you should know how to express yourself, right? Okay. Again, like one small thing out here. If you look now this dist folder, if you look at this dist folder out here, if you look at the size, let me go and see the total size of this dist folder. It is 5 MB. It is 5 MB. If I go and if I want to go live into production, right, I don't use just ngbuild. I use ngbuild -- prod production. When you do a production, what it does is you can see there are lots of map files here. I'll come to what these map files are. If you look at this polyfill.js, you can see there are so many comments. It removes these comments, it makes it smaller, it crushes it, crunches it, it like squeezes it and makes your file size very, very small. So remember, our total size of our dist folder was 5 MB. But if I do a ngbuild -- prod, it does more compression, more squeezing, right? And it creates a very less file size, which is more better in terms of performance. So let us see what kind of file size you have. You can see again, I'm doing an ngbuild -- prod. So again, one more question for you guys. What does ngbuild -- production flag does, right? Okay. So there it is, generating the application bundles. I'll come to all this. What does it mean generating bundles? What does it mean chunk? All that we will go internally, guys. It takes some time. So today is the first day of Angular, so I don't want to rush into it. Building. They have made a great compiler. And very quickly, you can see these are all files which are deleted now. So before you do an ngbuild, it deletes from the dist folder, right? Okay. Come on. Generating chunk asset optimization. So what it does is it takes chunk of those files and it compresses them. Remember, that's what developers like about Angular. If you see across, like, okay, there it is. It has now created the files. Let us now go to a dist folder and let us see what the size is. I'm not sure if the size minimizes or not. Look at that. It is 244 KB. The same file which was 5 MB, it is now 244 KB. So that's small the size has become, right? And it can be more compressed further. For example, there is something called as squeezing. There is something called as IV compiler. You can go one step further and make it small and small and small and more efficient and more performance oriented, right? And that's what the best part about Angular is. You write the code once and the compiler does all this magic from outside, right? Everyone clear about ngbuild -- prod? Is everyone clear about it? What if you look at now, if you look at this ngbuild -- look at this, you'll find that, look at the file, look at how it is. It has made everything so small. All comments are removed, right? You don't see too many files. If you remember in the previous folder, we had so many files like map files and so on. All those files have gone off. It's all very so small and so nice, right? Yes. So that is ngbuild -- prod. But remember, if you compile in -- prod, you can't debug in production. when you go to debug, if let's say you put this application online, you don't have any VS Code. If you debug if you are saying ng build prod, you have no way to debug it. So remember that you should only do prod, when you are done finally, everything is fixed and you are live and your end user wants to work on it. Or till then, if you're on testing server or if you're on some other servers, keep doing without the prod, right? Any questions here, guys? What is ng serve versus ng build? And what is ng build -- prod flag? This is a flag, -- prod flag. If you have any questions, you can put down on the chat. Okay, so great. So guys, what we'll do is we'll not take anything more than this. What I want is you have a full week with you. Go ahead, install the CLI. Install, look at the options like -G and not without -G. Do an ng serve. See the localhost 4200 port. Look at these folders, which I've discussed, like src folder and e2e folder, right? And look at the package.json file. Just confirm that you are on Angular 11, right? Look at ng build versus ng serve. Do an ng build -prod, right? So go ahead and do this. Next time what we'll do is, I think we should connect now both on Saturday as well as on Sunday. Just 30 minutes, not more. So that, we can cover faster, because we have a lot of topics, guys. And all these topics has to be done. At least now your exams are finished, right? We should not now try to go slow, right? Yes. Any questions here? I can see some noise there. So guys, can we do on Saturday and Sunday if possible? Like just half an hour. Let me know. Oh, no, sir. So what should we do? Only on Sunday or only on Saturday? How it is? I see a no from Roshan, so I'm not sure what is that no for. Yes, Krishna, that is right. Right. Yeah, let us do twice a week. Raju, we should plan to go to Dhangadi. And 2 days, we do the demo for 4 hours, like 1 hour we do the learning, 20 minutes we take a break, 1 hour we do the demo, 20 minutes we take the break. Right from 10 a.m. to let's say 5 p.m. That time we will cover the major chunk with MVC core or something. Raju, we should plan to move to Dhangadi once. We are waiting for NAST College, to give us the place. If we are not getting the place at NAST College, these many people, we can go and we can log into some other place and we can take the training, right? Okay. So that offline with this online, I think, we should be able to make it till the end. So guys, I'm pasting these questions on the Telegram group. So that's what is for today. Right. There it is, right? So thank you very much, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Any questions, guys, before I end the class? Raju, we can stop recording now.